In this movie, we're going to look at how to open and close files in Ruby. We're also going to look to see if the file exists and if you have the right permissions to be dealing with a file. So the easiest way to open that file is to use the file open construct that you see right here. So we have file is a class, open is a class method of that, and we give it a file name. You can actually put the text right in here, the string if you want. Instead, I created a variable to hold it here. And then we just use a block structure right here to read each line. So we get the file here, and then within that file, we march through with this gets and get each line, and then we print it out. So it's a pretty simple program, and here's what the program actually, or the file that we're using looks like. And I'm running this right in the same directory as the file, so it'll work. If you got this script and this file in different places, you need to specify an absolute path between them so that the script can find it. So let's go ahead and run it here. And it's just gonna essentially echo out each line here. But what if I wanted to make sure that file existed? Let's in fact change the file name to that and see what happens. Now we get an error because no such file directory, can't find it. Instead, why don't we do this? If and then we'll close this up here. So the construct I used is, I'm saying again, it's a class method, and it has a little question mark, and that's just like another character, but it lets you know that, hey, this is kind of asking a question. I give it the file name that I specified up here, and it's going to say, hey, if this is true, then go ahead and open it and read it. Otherwise, it's just going to kick out. So let's save that and see what happens. And it should just give us nothing. Didn't give us anything. And if we wanted to, we could put in an else and say puts the file does not exist. So let's go here. So there we go. If we change it back, go to that and run it, now it's going to read it out because that file exists. So you might be wondering now, looking at this, going, well, you didn't close it anywhere. Well, using this kind of construct right here, Ruby actually goes ahead, opens the file, does what you want to do with it, processes it. Then at the end of the block, because it recognizes this block structure, it goes ahead and closes the file back out. Now, what if we wanted to read this file and we didn't know if we had permission and we didn't want to get an error? So let's first look at the permissions. And this is Unix style permissions. On the Windows permissions, it's going to be slightly different, and you'll have to modify this in order to look at those. But essentially, I did a long listing of this to see that, well, everybody's got read permission on here. But what if I remove that off of here? So I'll just do this real quick. And if you're not real savvy with Ruby or Linux, you could actually do it through the GUI also. But basically, I changed the mode. That's what this command stands for, change mod. A minus R. A is all, and minus R means remove the read permission and then the file name. So you can see that it got removed. Now, if I go ahead and run this, again, it exists, so we're okay there. And again, we get an error, but this time it's permission denied error. Or maybe I need to be checking if I have the correct permissions to be reading from a file. Perhaps I need to be able to get in there and take a look at it. Now let's look at file and see what we have in here for some tools here. Well, here we have some class methods. That's what we've been using. So let's see if there's a readable in here. Sure enough, right here is a readable, and you can see the writable right here. So you can check and see if you have permission to read these. And let's throw this in another. And again, we'll just close it up. And let's drop an else here. Now let's run this and see what happens. So it caught that. I don't have read permission, and I can go ahead and change that back out. And now my program, I just changed the permission on there, it's going to run just fine. So you can also check if you can write to a file via this same type of system, and it would be writable is the command for that. And the one other one that you might be interested in is executable. And let's change this to this file right here, 1201.rb. And let's run that and see what happens. File's not executable. Of course it's not. But we can quickly make it executable if we want, and using the chmod command. So that's essentially how you can go in, check if a file exists, check if you have permission to read or write to it, and then go ahead and open it and process it.